Today we are giving this 80 series an upgrade. The old turbo has done its job. It's time for more boost and more power. We're putting in a new G-turbo. Let's get started. What we do today is we put in this G-turbo. I put it aside because it's heavy. We will start to work now, and while I work I will talk a little bit about it, why this happens. But what we do now is we get all the hoses away so we can look down to the original turbo, get the intake manifold away and brackets and so on and so on, and I will just talk while I work. First of all, we will remove the air filter box and get it out. So we have plenty of room actually to get the turbocharger out. I mean, a 1HD FT has plenty of room. And why do we change the turbo? I know from the customer, and they already took a, let's say, angled look into it, or at least into the intake hose, and there was dirt in it because, yeah, someone else worked on it and forgot to tighten the hose clamp on the intake hose, so it sucked a little bit of deep dirt in it, or dust. The compressor wheel of the 80 is now a little bit sandblasted, and because the customer wants to get on a trip and we don't actually know how good the turbocharger really is, we change it. Yeah, and the solution we have now is we put the G-turbo in. We will drive it with stock boost because we have no intercooler in. We don't want to fry the engine. That's our job now. Now we get everything down so we can get the turbocharger out.
In order to make this big trip as safe as possible, we really need to be careful. First we start with the air filter box, and then I remove the oil catch can. The oil catch can is pretty awesome. It acts as a filter from the PVC to the air intake manifold. But here is something you might also want to know that led to today's operation in the first place.
The car has a snorkel, so we have to disconnect it. And when I first had the air filter box out, it was a little bit funny. I mean, it was not funny for the customer, but funny for me, because someone had it out too, or pried it out, I don't know. The intake part of the airbox, so this pipe, was bent inward, so it actually blocked 1/3 the inlet. And also you had such a big gap, and the snorkel itself was useless, and it was just the normal, yeah, you know, 50% of all mechanics just do shit. You put your car there, and afterwards it is more damaged than it was before. I see it so much happening that I remove something and then see something, a mechanic or someone else with technical knowledge, destroy it. It is just, yeah, unbelievable how careless people actually are. I mean, this engine doesn't cost $500 if it is dead or sucks in water. And it is just how careless people are about stuff they don't own. I mean, somebody paid a lot of money for these cars. So I don't actually see the reason why you just work a half hour longer or hour and just make it the right way.
That was our problem in the first place, but now it's time to fix it. At least we can already see the goal right there. After the air filter box, we need to remove the intake manifold. Therefore, also the EGR needs to go. And look what we found! Some block-off plates. Which reminds me of our 80 series guide we did a few months ago. Unfortunately, on this 80 series we start to discover more things.
Okay, wow. So I removed the EGR and we have some oil in the intake manifold. The intake manifold here does face down. It is blocked off, so the oil can't go nowhere actually. And it just stands here, so it could be, I mean, it does have oil catch can. There shouldn't be any oil in it. It could be from the turbocharger, but we will see it when we have it out.
But to be sure, we need to completely remove the intake manifold. The manifold is now only connected on the other side. After removing the remaining bolts, we can take a closer look into it and see how bad it is and how much gunk has built up.
So here we have the intake manifold, and it is clean. So that was just leftover oil if you look on the intake manifold, that is actually the lowest point. So when the oil fog more or less gets sucked in, it will just concentrate here. On the intake itself, the thing is clean, so no worries about that.
Finally, some good news. At least one thing we don't need to worry about. In order to take the turbo out, we need to remove the EGT sensor from the exhaust manifold. After that I open the bolts of the skid plate. Now I can access the drain plug of the cooler and drain the coolant before we can put in the new turbocharger. With the coolant drained, we can remove the coolant lines of the turbo.
Yeah.
And now the most annoying work, opening the nuts on the exhaust side of the turbo.
The struggle is real. If you change your turbocharger, put new bolts on it. Don't reuse the old ones. Because the next guy who has to take it out probably has then a really hard life. Because everything is stuck. Just a little advice. Actually, also I'm curious when I get it off how it really looks. I mean, I did make a photo of my cell phone putting it down, so I see the compressor wheel, but it's a whole different story when the turbocharger is out and you can actually look at it and can spin it, but we will see. The tool actually is loose. Problem is I can't get it out, because normally you would loosen up the exhaust manifold, but the thing is, everything is tightened to the absolute limit. I'm afraid I will rip off the exhaust manifold. Second easy solution is I get the bracket from the engine mount out and just pump the engine up, what I will do, because that's the easier way than drilling out studs. I don't want to drill out the studs, so I will remove the engine bracket, actually to do it the easy way and just slide the manifold from the engine with the turbo on it, but it's not possible without breaking 1 or 2 or 3 studs. So it will be the engine bracket, engine mount bracket. Let's go.
So it's time for the alternative route. It would be a miracle if everything would go as planned, but nothing we won't manage. To take the engine bracket out, we pump the engine with the jack-up. With the engine moved a little bit to the right side, it's a simple job to remove the bracket. And on top of that,
now we have plenty of room to slide the turbocharger out.
or at least I thought so. The turbocharger is giving me one hell of a fight. It doesn't want to come out, but after a few minutes we can finally see some big movements. And the turbocharger is finally out.
Good. And when you ask yourself why it was so difficult to get this turbocharger out, because if I could loosen that bracket but someone rounded the head, it would be much easier to get it out.
That bolt is so rounded, there was no possibility to open it. But now we can finally take a closer look.
And how bad is it?
So actually, how bad is it? On a turbocharger it works, but it has something, or it is totally garbage. This one actually works. There isn't much play in the shaft, so I wouldn't say it's okay. It's actually not more than all other CT26s from Toyota, if they are good. But you see on the turbine wheel that the edges they don't run straight, they go like this, and also they are chipped. The story behind that is that thing sucked some sand, so it had a effect of sandblasting the turbine wheel, and yeah, the owner was just concerned that the turbine wheel could disintegrate itself. I mean, always possible. Before you get it out, you never know how bad it really is, because you can't look on the exhaust side and things. In the meanwhile, we will put in the G-turbo with all the Toyota stuff, so it has the same boost pressure and everything runs the same, just a little bit more efficient because it's a G-turbo. He will be actually most efficient, I think, around 1.1, something like this, or 1.2 bars. And the original one, yeah, is with 0.8 bars. I mean, I saw in the intake manifold there isn't much gunk in it, so it was for sure not really blowing oil in it. I think we're pretty good on this side.
Before we work on the G-turbo, we give it a good clean to make sure there is no dirt or debris in it. On top of it, it looks way better. Next we check on the old turbo, in particular the wastegate, to see when it's fully open, meaning I take a pressure gauge and connect it to the wastegate. With the gauge I see how much pressure or bars are needed to fully open it. In this case it's 0.8 bars. I do the same with the G-turbo. Also here I adjust it to 0.8 bars. After checking the boost pressure, we can reassemble the turbo and put it back in. With the bracket of the turbo, it's pretty simple to slide it in place. Who would have thought? Now we connect the turbocharger on the exhaust side and after that, we slide the engine bracket back in.
Only thing missing now is the intake manifold and the air filter box. The bracket for the turbocharger is still out because with the bracket I can't reach the adjustment rod, so I can adjust the boost pressure. Here, afterwards we will drive it, start it first of all, hear how it sounds, and then drive it, and then we will see more.
With the intake manifold and the EGR back in place, we are almost finished. Only minor things are now left. I have finished everything around the turbo. Besides, as you see, the vent is missing and the airbox is just, I just put it on for starting. So the next thing will be I start the car. That will be a little bit of a, let's say, surprise because it is a used turbo and it was laying around for quite some time and we will see what happens. Hopefully everything is running, right? The next thing is to start the engine. Now the moment of truth.
I'm pretty happy there is no abnormal sound on the turbocharger. It also doesn't smoke blue, so actually I'm pretty happy. We will let it run now for like 3-5 minutes until it warms a little bit up, and I will throttle it slightly and then we will get the rest together and make a little drive with it.
After we let it idle for some time, it's time to see what happens with some throttle. Everything sounds just perfect. After we double checked everything, it's time to go on a little test drive.
So we drive a little bit in the hilly country, now in the hilly area where I live. Look how it pulls. It actually doesn't pull bad. It's more torquey from the bottom. The 80s are normally a little bit sluggish around there, but it moves.
And after the engine warmed up, it's time to check if everything works. And that sounds awesome.
Here he comes. Oh fuck. Just to be sure nothing pops or blows off or hose or something, I have to throttle it a bit hard because mostly the customers do the same, and you never want to have a call that something popped. We are on our test drive, everything is fine. It doesn't lose oil, it doesn't lose water. We will look how high our boost goes and if I adjusted it right from the beginning. Moment of truth. So, what are you guessing? 0.7? 0.8? Something like that. Okay. It peaks at 0.85, what is totally okay. Yeah, I mean, it is not much more boost than original, but the turbocharger is much more efficient. I already knew it when I looked down onto the boost gauge, and I saw at 1000 revs the car makes already 0.2, so it's a little bit of both. And the exhaust temperature also is, I would say, more or less the same because I drove before with it. If you do something like that, changing a turbocharger for a performance turbocharger, in my case there is no intercooler on it, so I don't want to play with a lot of boost and a lot of diesel. If you want to do it right the way, put an intercooler on it, go on the dyno, look for the AFR and exhaust gas temperature, and just tune it right so it is really maximum power with okay-ish exhaust gas temperature, and then you are fine and you will not kill the engine. It feels lighter, and I think that's the main goal, to get out of that sluggish behavior the 1HD FT has. I'm actually pretty okay with the G-Turbo. I mean, it is just the in-between solution, but still, it's fine. The end resume for today's episode is it drives fine, it doesn't leak any oil. That's it actually also with this episode. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we see us the next time.